In today's equity index futures markets, let's take a look at the Russell futures as they're realizing a nice move higher here today. We're experiencing the Russell futures higher for the second session of the last three trading sessions, where most of the other major equity index futures markets are lower on the session for a second consecutive day. We're seeing lower price action. And I think when you look at what's going on here, there's a couple things to point to as to why the Russell futures may be realizing a little bit of a turn in sentiment here as we continue to see this rotation taking place within the market. Now, the Russell futures over the last 5 weeks or so certainly have underperformed the other major equity index futures markets, but now it does appear that for the short terms, a rotation, and we're seeing it play out today with the Russell futures higher. Now, Dow futures are the worst performer of today's price action. Now, yesterday it was the NASDAQ futures. So once again, you're seeing some of these small caps now that had been knocked down over the last 5 to 6 weeks experiencing some buying pressure here, and I think it has something to do with just valuations and some rotation taking place, but also the Omicron variant continues to play on the sentiment in the market, the psychology, in the market, as we are now seeing, it having an impact. You're seeing it play out in social gatherings and other things of that nature. From a global perspective, we're seeing restrictions being put in, at least for the short term. And I think that that's definitely impacting with a perceived economic activity and the potential valuations of various equity holdings. So I do think the small caps are benefiting a little bit from that trend today as well. Now, when you look at the general trends overall for the market as we move through to the end of expiration for December, we are experiencing, as I mentioned, the Dow futures down the most today and down for a second consecutive session. The S&P 500 futures are the second worst performer today, down about 1% currently. And the NASDAQ futures down about 0.5%, with the Russell futures still holding on to a gain up about 30 basis points or so as we move towards the close. We'll see. Hopefully it will hold on to that plus column for the day, but overall this rotation trade unfolding today, and that's benefiting the Russell futures, and we're seeing the other major equity index futures lower on the session.